All right, welcome back, my dear student. So, on the last lecture, we learned how to connect, how to load in a model, right, with this manual way of doing it. And I told you I was going to show you how to do it using a auto load function, and I will on this lecture here. But anyway, then we are loading in this model here and then using a method inside right here. But we actually are not really using it. We are calling it, but it doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything to assign to this result here. All right. So the next step would be to actually make a query here, right? But first, let me show you the second way of actually loading a model. All right. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because on this step right here, we have to load and now let's communicate with a database. So in like this, all the configuration there. And the best thing about it is that you can assign it to a variable. And you can say, you know what? That's it. This is my connection here. Beautiful. All right. Now, you can also create another connection. So let's say, for example, you have a second connection to a database somewhere. All right. This is a second connection right here, as you can see. You can come and have a second connection. There we go. All right. So now you have a second connection to the database. Isn't that beautiful? All right. So you can use it like this, but I don't like using it like this, to be honest with you. All right. So I'm going to comment this out. What I like to do is I like to go to autoload.php. Actually, let's do something first. Let's actually put a configuration for a database here because we're only going to have one database, right? So actually not in config. Go to config folder and go to database. And this is where you're going to put the configuration. Our configuration is root because, well, that's my configuration because I haven't changed it. And for the username is root, password is empty, and the database is errand underscore db. Save. All right. So now that this is done, then we can go and actually make sure that this is auto loaded. So let's go to autoload.php and go all the way to the top and scroll down a little bit to where it says libraries. In my case, it's line 61. I'm gonna actually load the database class. CodeIgniter has many different libraries. All right. One of the libraries is the database class. This database class is going to have a whole bunch of methods that you can use to do your regular CRUD, the create, read, update, and delete queries. All right. So we're gonna have a very simple syntax that we can use to communicate with a database by using their class of the database. All right. So that's beautiful. So now we come here to our user model, and we don't have to do all this. All we got to do here, since we are loading that database automatically, auto loading it, we can just say this DB. All right. And then we can use their built-in methods like get, for example. And now we call the users what? Users table, like this. And that's going to give me all the users information. Can you believe that? All right. We get all the users information, and we can assign it to something. Let's say, let's just return it. Let's just say return this. Actually, we got to say return, and let's just say, let's assign this to a query like this, and we're going to say return query, and we're going to use this function called result right here. All right. And that's going to return everything from that table. All right. As an array of objects. All right. So now in the other side, let's go to the controllers. Here, we can actually grab this. This variable right here is going to have an array of objects coming in from the database table users. So we're going to have properties like ID, username, and password that we can loop through it, and then we can do whatever we want with it. We can process that information. We can even echo it on the screen. On the next lecture, because this is getting kind of long, I'm going to actually do that. All right. So if you want to go ahead and do that right now, that's up to you. So I challenge you to use this here, loop through it, and echo out the results and see what you get. All right. Try it out. It's fun. And I'll see you in the next lecture and show you the way I do it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.